Conversation. Oh, I am excited about this conversation. But before we get into that, let's just say hello. So, hello to Paul from Narrowboat Life Unlocked, and hello to Maxine from Never Too Late Our Journey. So, if you haven't joined us before, we are three YouTube bloggers who just love to get together once a week for a good chat. And welcome if you're new, and welcome if you've joined us before. So hello. So before we get into this week's subject, let's find out where you are and what you've been up to. Paul, where are you?
Yeah, well, last week I was a few minutes late because I'd filled with water and then got the boat to Anderton, and it took me quite a few minutes to get the pins in and stuff. So apologies for that. But I wish I'd gone down on the Anderton boat lift, because our friend David Bramley was going down just after the chat that we had last week. And now the lift is closed. So one caisson was closed, now it's both, and people are sort of trapped. They said it's going to be at least the weekend before it's fixed. And so I wish we'd gone down onto the River Weaver, because we love it down there. And there's quite a lot of canals, you're probably aware of this, that are now closing because of the shortage of water and the water shortage from the reservoirs. So the Midweek, it just feels like the whole canal system's closing around us. Fingers crossed for some rain.
Oh man, we'll all be doing rain dance. Honestly, I saw dark clouds yesterday in the sky, and I was like, "Come on, rain, come on!" Paul, you didn't, because you're hanging around the boat lift because we've got the vloggers' summer picnic this weekend. That hasn't caused you to be trapped, has it? Because I'm going to feel so bad.
No. Well, we were going to go to Midweek and carry on to Chester, but we'll probably do that next week. Fingers crossed if we can get that far.
Oh man, I hope so. Thanks, Paul. Maxine, big day for you today. Book is launching, and it's also your dad's 80th birthday. So where are you? What you up to? And congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, the book launched this morning, which is great. So, and we are now in Nottingham, which we used to come to. I used to work in Nottingham years ago, so we said we'd come down to the canal and more real. So we came yesterday, stayed last night, staying again. We've been off tomorrow.
Brilliant. You keep cutting up there, which is really odd, because we were talking earlier and you were fine. But I think you said you're in Nottingham, you used to work there, and you're staying there for a couple of days. Is that it? It is.
Yeah.
It is. Oh, man. Well, hello to everybody who's joining us as well. From New Zealand, Joe from New Zealand, Sue, we've got Mick from Thailand. Oh, we're truly international, aren't we? We really are. Hello to everybody. So today we are talking about adventure. Are you adventurous? Have you got enough adventure in your life? How do we get more adventure? All of that. So shall we start off? Paul, are you adventurous? Do you see yourself as someone who's adventurous?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I love the idea of adventure. And I think if anyone's watched that Disney film Up, or is it a Pixar film? It's one of my favorite films. And it just shows that journey and the life and looking back. And it's going to be, I just want that kind of life that's filled with adventure. You know, we've been lucky enough to do a lot of traveling, and a lot of that is thanks to Anthony's brother, who's super organized and plans everything. Otherwise, we'd have just gone to Gran Canaria every January and sat on the same beach at the same hotel. But adventure. It's just something to look forward to. And yeah, I know we're going to discuss later on about, does an adventure have to be big? I don't think it does. But yeah, I'd like to think I'm adventurous, and maybe living this lifestyle was that bit of adventure that we were seeking in our later years.
Well, I was going to say, thanks, Paul, for that. I was going to say all three of us have embarked on an adventure where, we've all sold up and sort of left a life behind and created a new one. So maybe, spoiler alert, we're all up for a bit of adventure. Maxine, what about you?
I think so. I would, but I think since Steve and I have been together, so the last of us, and we'll go off and adventures and go to different places. So yeah, definitely. As I've got older, and obviously now the lifestyle is one.
Okay, because you keep cutting out. Let me just see if I can recap that. No, I don't know why either. So as you've got older, you'd say you have more adventures now than you did, when you were younger, and that you and Steve go off, because the lifestyle you've created, gives you more time. Would you say that it gives you more time? Yeah. So I would say I like a bit of adventure too. I've talked before that I like change, and adventure to me is like, it's change. Even if you go somewhere on holiday, that feeling when you get there for the first couple of days, you don't know where anything is. I love that feeling. I love that feeling of sort of exploring and finding out. So if you're watching, can you just give us a yes or a no, or a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or a Y and an N, or whatever? Just let us know. Do you like adventure? Is it something that you seek out, or even if you don't actively seek it out, you just love, it lights a fire? So let us know. So can you think of an adventure can you share an adventure that you've had and tell us how it changed you? Paul, do you want to go first?
Oh, well, do you know what? I'd never been abroad till I was 21. And the very first place I went to was to see my family in Texas. And now I look back, I think I must have been crazy. I'd never flown before. I went all the way to Texas, had to get a connecting flight. I got picked up from the airport, which was good. But it was so surreal being in America for the first time. And then I don't want this to sound like a bragging list of places we've been to, but we've done some amazing things. And I think probably two of my favorite places were Australia and South Africa. And staying in a game lodge in South Africa, that was just, and the stars were amazing. And it's those kind of adventures that stick with you for life, isn't it? Those memories.
Can I just say, Paul, did you just say a game lodge?
Yes. A game reserve.
I thought you said a game lodge. I was like, interesting.
We did do that in Australia. I think the place we stayed at was a gay resort, but it was just like,
Excellent. So when you went to America, Paul, for that first time, the first time you flew, did you go on your own, or were you with someone?
Yeah, I went on my own. Yeah.
Man, that's that is amazing too, because I was in my 20s when I first flew. I think I was about 23. In fact, two of my children had flown before me because they got to go on an adventure before I did. And I mean, it blew my mind. I can remember it clearly the first time, being on a plane. And so to do that on your own, to go to America, have to get a connecting flight, that is an adventure.
I went mad that year. I went to America, Italy and Belgium all on my own that one year. Crazy.
That's really interesting. I think once you've done that America one, and you've done the connecting flights and you've experienced that, it must have just, in your mind, you must have just thought, I can go anywhere.
Yeah. But haven't you both been to places and you think, oh, I wish I'd done this years ago? Or if you're on holiday, you think, oh, we should do this more often. And it's almost that feeling, isn't it, of this is so nice.
Yeah, all the time, all the time. Maxine, can you think of an adventure that you've had and, you know, how it's changed you? Oh, we've got no sound now. Maxine, no sound. Oh, I'll tell you what, let me share mine and then hopefully your internet has come back. Should we do that? Can you hear us? Yes.
Yeah, perfect, isn't it? Just no sound.
Yeah, just let me share mine and then we'll come back to you. Okay, so when I think I was in my mid-30s, I took 3 of my children. My eldest, she didn't want to come, and I took them to 3 of them to Edinburgh on a coach from London to protest at the G8 summit. So I was very political then, and I was trying to change the world. So this was like something I believed in really strongly, and I decided to take my children to Edinburgh to do this. Glenn was like, Lisa, I'm not coming. He was like, you know, he was working as a special constable for Northants Police. He was like, no, I'm not going. I was like, I don't care, Glenn, I'm going on my own with any of my children that want to come. So I went on this adventure from London on a coach to Edinburgh with 3 young children. We stayed in the youth hostel. We protested. We then got the coach back. It was such an adventure that, it changed me. It made me feel that I could do anything. Do you know what I mean? I could achieve things. I could do things like being on a coach for, 10 hours with 3 small children, not a problem. Things like exploring a new city on my own with 3 small children, not a problem. Like being involved in a political protest, not a problem. It just opened my eyes to made me feel that I could achieve, other stuff. Yeah. So, Maxine, are you there?
Hopefully, can you hear me now?
Perfect. Perfectly. Don't know. Anyway.
I'm still trying to get used to this laptop. Well, we've done lots of little things, but I think the one that's 8 or 9 years ago, Steve used to always ride bike. Only ever been on the back of one once, said I'd never go back on again. A great big triumph, and we just had on it, and it just gave us both a really, it was just amazing time when we.
Okay, you cut out a little bit, so it was you. Don't worry, because I think we got the gist of it. So Steve used to ride motorbikes, and you'd been on the back once. Was it once? And then did you then go together on a motorbike, and you loved it?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
We had so much. Yeah.
Well, that's brilliant. I've been on the back of a motorbike once. I never want to do it again. And Glenn, when he's when he was going around the corner, I was like counteracting it. I was like, it was like, Lisa, you've got to lean in. I was like, I don't want to.
That sounds scary. Before you say hello to people, Lisa, I think this is a bit uncanny because when you're in Edinburgh on your G8 protest, I think we saw you because we were in Edinburgh when that protest was going on, and we were going round on the tour bus.
I went on the tour bus too with the kids when we weren't protesting. We might have been on the very same tour bus. Man, I have got some video footage I didn't take. My daughter took from that time. Oh man, well, who knows? We could have sat next to each other. That's excellent. That is excellent.
Can I just say to
yeah.
Sue as well? Sue put up, am I going to Boston? Yeah, eventually.
You are going to Boston.
Yeah.
So hello to everybody. Lots and lots of people. Mick says, at the age of 50, I sold up and left my normal life. Now 8 years in Thailand, and it's been fun and scary. I think adventures can be a little scary. And I think that maybe that's the adventure part of them, that they make us like a little bit out of our comfort zone. One day more aboard. We are definitely up for adventure, and some have called us crazy. I love that. Martin, life is all about adventure. Now, Martin, I've got on Facebook, and he's just blacked his wide beam boat. It's been so interesting to watch that adventure. That really was. So yes, lots of people are saying yes, they love Stephanie, Gordon, Joe, yeah, love it. Louise from Narrowboat, changing pace, yes, new places, new people. Maybe boaters, we all love that, that on the move, always somewhere new. Maybe there's something there.
Or we're easily bored, and we're just
easily bored. Yeah, maybe. One day more aboard. We lived in Singapore, Texas, and narrowboat life is for living, not for thinking. What if? They're good words.
Yeah.
Sue, had a lovely afternoon at Beckworth Emporium on Monday. Thank you for the recommendation. Well, Sue, if you're still in the area, let us know. We'd love to come and say hi. Beckworth is good, by the way. Sorry, we're just off on local chat there. Mick says, I left the UK with 2 suitcases and UK life in storage. Faint-hearted, never won a fair maiden. And yet another canal adventure. Is this Mark or Paul? I always get muddled. My first international flight was to Paris to catch a connecting flight to Nairobi to start a 2-year volunteering contract. That is an adventure. That's like first flights, like a new job. That is big change. Mick saying, Maxine, you need to reinstall your sound card. It might be just the internet, because we are boaters. It's not always good.
Fine on everything else. It's this app.
Is it? Yeah.
Maxine, buy cheap, buy twice.
It's a brand spanking new iPad.
Maxine's outraged at that comment, Paul.
I didn't think it would be cheap.
Sue saying she was 16, went to London for college, and that was an adventure. Oh man, 16 is young, isn't it? When you move away and start a new life. So I
didn't know how to boil an egg at 16.
Now this is interesting. No, I didn't either. I had no skills when I was 16. I didn't have much more when I was 18, to be honest. Now, this is a good question from Louise, because she's asking like the definition of an adventure. Is an adventure trying new things, seeing new places, and meeting new people? I mean, I think to me, that sounds like a pretty good definition. But I think an adventure, and we're going to talk about, let's have that conversation now, actually, about, whether adventures are big or small, or can we have micro adventures? Is a day trip a micro adventure? Is cooking a new meal or trying something that you've never tasted before, is that an adventure? How do we define an adventure? Anyone want to take a stab at that one?
Well, I think it's like, adventure, you think of traveling the world and doing all
Yeah.
those amazing things and seeing big tourist destinations.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can be that small thing, can't it? One of our favorite things, our friends live up in near the Lake District, and one of our favorite things, we used to go there on New Year's Eve, and every New Year's Day we'd go for a walk on the beach and we'd have a picnic, and it was just amazing. And and because it's New Year's Day, everyone's saying hello and oh, that looks lovely. I wish we'd brought a picnic. Or one of these the plays in the park, that was a fantastic memory. So it doesn't really necessarily have to be an expensive thing, does it?
No, I don't think so. I think it would really limit us if we just defined adventures as like big international travel. I mean, where does that leave people who, for whatever reason, are not very mobile and can't leave the house? Does that mean that they have a life with no adventure? I don't think so. I think we can create adventure. For me, it's something new. It's not always something new, actually. I've something unplanned sometimes. I've got a great story of when Mr. Warner was so spontaneous, I almost fell over. So once Glenn decided he was going to paint the garage floor. I mean, to be honest, that is the dullest of dull jobs, right? I mean, this is obviously when we was back at the house. I mean, I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. I was like, okay. And it was a Saturday morning, and we went to B&Q, and thankfully they'd sold out of garage floor paint. I mean, I can't tell you how happy I was. So Glenn said, we got back in the car, and Glenn said, we'll go to Wickes, see if they've got any. I was like, okay. And he said, and if there isn't any, what we'll do, we will drive to London, we'll go to Harrods for an ice cream, because there's an ice cream parlour in Harrods, right? And which we have been to before, but it'd been like years before. Man, I was so excited. We pulled up at Wickes. I was like, it's into Wickes, right? My plan was, if there was garage floor paint, I was going to hide it. I didn't need to. There wasn't any. I was like, I almost did like a little. I think I did do a little dance in the aisle. And we got in the car. We drove to London, and we drove to Stanmore, jumped on the tube, and went to Harrods for an ice cream. And it was an amazing day, completely unplanned. Felt like an adventure. It did. So an adventure, big or small or little. And I've also been away for a day, as in, stayed somewhere, been away from the house or for like 24 hours, and I've come back and I feel like I've been away for like 3 or 4 days. Has anyone ever experienced that as well?
Yeah.
So I think, what is an adventure? Is it something that it's exciting? It's maybe a new place. What was that, Maxine?
It's something that gives you a buzz.
A buzz. Yeah, that's a really good description, isn't it? It feels like an adventure. I mean, that's it. I like that. Oh, One Day More Aboard has a great definition.
Yeah.
A great definition. I think an adventure is anything that pushes you out of your comfort zone. Again, so I'm going to stop talking in a minute. I know I just but my mum is coming over today, and she's coming in on the bus, and she changes buses and comes over. Now, she did this for the first time. It was a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. For her, that was a massive adventure, right? To catch 2 buses and to be able to get here, and her sense of achievement when she did that was massive. So it was definitely out of my mum's comfort zone. So I think that's a great definition of an adventure, something that is outside our comfort zone.
I can't wait to tell Anthony.
You can't wait to what?
Tell Anthony, because when we move the boat, he won't get in a taxi. Like, I'm going to say, look, that's an adventure. And Lisa's mum had to get 2 buses across town.
Yeah.
Getting that taxi, it's an adventure.
Isn't that funny, right? Because Glenn won't get a taxi. He'd do anything rather than get a taxi. And I don't know what it is. He just, it doesn't even come into his head that a taxi is an option. Like, yeah, that's strange. We need to grill them about that when we meet up this weekend. Like,
Taxi phobia.
Taxis, yeah. Right. Let's it's Mark. It's Mark getting another canal adventure, and he has had a look in the dictionary. An unusual and exciting or daring experience. Well, unusual, exciting, daring. I like that. That's that's good. Yeah, I like it. Right, let me just have a quick look because there's a lot of comments, and I'm worried that I've missed one. Have you seen any, Maxine, that you
I looked the one about the motorbike earlier on.
Yeah.
Where's that?
That one.
Where's that? Oh, I tell you, I'm just like, I can't be trusted with the chat, honestly.
I went on the back of my mum's motorbike. We got pulled over. I was sat too far back because my butt was covering the brake lights. Shine lights, paranormal.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Shine a light. Is it Amelia? I think I'm rubbish with names. I think it might be. Let us know. She also says, I love narrowboat life. Just me and my narrowboat would be my dream. Yeah, it's a beautiful way of life. And Mick says, narrowboaters are a special breed of people, Freelanders. Yeah, I love canal life. I really do. Sue says, unplanned days are adventures. I like that. That's so I think they're different. I've got here's another question for you. Do you have enough adventure in your life? Maxine's like, yes, I do. No more required. Thank you very much. Paul, what would you say? Is there room for more?
I think there's room for more. I wish could be more adventurous. So, you know, like we've been on holiday and Anthony's gone paragliding, jumping off a mountain. Well, I've got a fear of heights, and I know I'd love it. Once your feet are off the ground, I know I would love it. A real buzz from it. And like, I'd love to do a parachute, but no, I think I'd rather die than jump out of a plane voluntarily. I think.
Well, you know, I've got a when it comes to like any sort of activity or adventure like that, I have a thing like risk of death. Like someone keeps saying, "Oh, you should try scuba diving." No, I don't want to.
No.
I don't need that sort of element of like dicing with death in anything I do. It just no, I don't need it.
Even on a roller coaster, I have to double check, and I think to myself, do you know what? This has gone round 1,000 times, and everyone that's been on it has got off 5, so I'll be fine.
Yeah. No, I'm all right like that. I can do that in my brain. I can think I'm safe here. I'm safe. But it's funny, isn't it? How you just Can
I tell you about? I think I've told you this. Sorry, Lisa. Sorry, I keep interrupting. I've told you about our friend on a roller coaster on Towers, and he heard all this giggling because he didn't realise he was sat on the bar between the 2 carriages.
No way.
He went on as a single rider, and he sat down. He thought, this is uncomfortable, and people were giggling at him, and he was sat on the bar. I
hope they remedied that before they set off on that roller coaster. You know, I was just going to say, Mick says, I'm still doing this adventure. I think that's a good attitude to have anyway with life, isn't it? Pete says, next year is our big adventure, selling up and moving to France. I know Pete has been practicing his French for years. That is very exciting. So,
I knew a couple from Wigan.
Yeah. You what?
I knew a couple from Wigan who moved to France, and they used to send us little home videos. They used to go, bonjour. Bonjour.
That would be me. I'm not very good with the language. So Pete said no, and I'm wondering if that's in answer to that. Have you got enough adventure in your life? So next question. How do we incorporate more adventure? And can I share with you something that my friend Dawn did when she turned 50? She did a year of 50 things for 50. And there was big things, there was small things, there was meeting up with people that she hadn't seen for a long time. And there was funny things like we were like, let's go to Bakewell to eat a Bakewell tart. You know, let's go to Mowbray to have a pork pie. You know, there was funny things like that.
Brilliant.
But having a list was, you know, it changed that year because, you know, she really like, okay, I've got a weekend free. I'm going to pick something off the list. So have either of you or anybody that's watching us got a bucket list or a list of 100 things to do before you die, or what tools, if you like, can you use to make sure you get more adventure in your life? Anyone?
We just keep finding different, especially now because being on the boat, just because you never know what's going to happen.
Every day is an adventure, Maxine. That's what you're saying.
It has been. We're now on the river as well, and we're about to, which the last time I did that, and but I'm trying to be brave and get my. I know it's going to be perfectly all right, but especially for me and Steve hasn't done it part. So yeah, we just keep. You can't hear me.
So yeah, you just kept flipping in and out. So every day still feels like an adventure to you. And Steve, and to be honest, you're fairly new into your living on the boat adventure, aren't you? So yeah, it should feel like that. You're on the river, which, I mean, some might say is an adventure. I always see rivers as slightly terrifying, but you know, like yeah. Were you saying about steering the boat, Maxine? Was that what you were saying? Because no,
we're going onto the Trent next, and so that's going to be. Previously, when I've been on it, it was really scary. It's going to be an adventure.
That is going to be an adventure. Some may call that an adventure. But yeah, the tidal trend. Yeah, good luck. You don't know. So Maxine's got enough going on. She doesn't need any other tools
anymore.
No prompts, no nothing. No. You got enough going on. Paul, what can you do?
Well, I agree with what you're saying, because on an arrow it for can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh no, don't say we've lost Paul now. Paul.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, hello. Sorry. Yeah, I'm agreeing with what you said as well, Maxine, because for us, even though we've done it for 2 years, you've never been on that canal before, and every corner you turn is something new, isn't it? You don't know who you're going to meet, you don't know what you're going to come across, you don't know whether it's safe, whether it's unsafe. So yeah, and I think maybe don't know. We've done a lot of things that we wanted to do. We've seen the Northern Lights in Reykjavik. That was on the top of our wish list, and that was just mind blowing. To see the Milky Way from our narrowboat, that was mind blowing. So we've been very lucky, and I don't think. Oh, so one thing I did do, I told you I'm not very good with heights. We walked over Sydney Harbour Bridge, up the top of Sydney Harbour Bridge, and Anthony used to study. He's a trained hypnotist.
Yeah.
And you're actually sat on the M6 motorway at this minute, Lisa. You're in the house. I need to put some clothes on. Anthony kept saying for months, I'll hypnotise you before we go. And then on the plane, I'm saying, you've still not hypnotised me. And he said, right, it's in a week. I'll hypnotise you when we get there. And the day before, he still had to hypnotise me. And I had to walk over Sydney Harbour Bridge unhypnotised. And I managed to do it. And it was an amazing adventure. So, yeah, it is pushing yourself out of the comfort zone, isn't it?
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Oh, hold on. Let's see what Sean is just saying. I think he's been on the tidal Trent. My first time on the Trent in is that now about HG, and I was like a kid with a new toy. Loved being able to push the speed.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, you love it, Lisa.
I don't know. I don't think I would like it. No,
you love it.
I don't think I would. It's funny because it's not that I don't trust Glenn. Like, I trust him on the canal. He handles the boat really well. But it just makes me nervous. Well, like really nervous. I don't know. Anyway, maybe. Louise, I don't generally go looking for adventures. I try new things as they present themselves. Weekend just gone, I did bucking bronco. Didn't know that was going to happen. Was rubbish at it, but had a go. Yeah, that is excellent. What I worry about is by not like having a list or anything, is that time just goes. Like, having a list, not like a rota, like must do something exciting every weekend, but it's just like a prompt.
I just thought of something. When I was younger, and you two may have done the same, maybe old kids do it. Did you ever sit in your parents' car and you turn the steering wheel and pretend that you were going to go somewhere adventurous, and you couldn't wait until you were old enough to drive? So I think we're very lucky that we've got cars. Hopefully, we can fly if that's possible. And I remember I discussed this in a past chat that we had. That I was chatting to an old neighbour of my mum and dad's who was very elderly, and she was in a home. And I was chatting about her past life, and she'd never been abroad in her life. And I think we're very lucky, aren't we, to be.
Travel, travel. The world is smaller, they say, don't they? Because we can travel to places. P has a brilliant idea here. So he's doing 60 at 60 bucket list, and I like what he's done. 20 risky, 20 small, 20 plain silly. I absolutely love that. And he also says that he wanted to dance legally on the Iron Bridge at 50. So he joined the Morris team. That's brilliant. That's an adventure in itself. So let's just have a look. God, I'm rubbish when I scroll through. I don't give myself. I'm like scrolling through, and I don't think. Anyway, I think for me, having some sort of list is an idea, because otherwise, for me, time just goes. Just goes. So the last question, I think we've answered. Do adventures have to be big? And I think we all agree they don't. They can be small, they can be tiny, they can be on the spur of the moment. It's not about traveling around the world.
No. As kids, I think everyone enjoys going to the beach, don't they? And that that is an adventure for a kid, and it costs nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, you know, as I said, you know, if you're housebound and you can't get out or you're not very mobile, you can create, you know, adventure in what you're doing, you know, speaking to somebody new or cooking a meal that you've never cooked before or trying something different. So I don't think, you know, in a way it's easier, you know, to say, oh, I'm going to go abroad, you know, big budget, go abroad. But I think there's plenty, you know, there's plenty on the list. What's Mick said? Lisa, OCD, it's CDO. Put it in the right order. Lists. Oh, I don't know. That's confused me. Yeah, I'm well confused. It don't take a lot, does it? It doesn't take a lot. So I think we've explored adventures, haven't we? Do you know what I'd like to do next week? I'd like to talk about challenges, like purposely, intentionally challenging ourselves. Would you be up for that?
Yeah. Can I just ask a quick question before we finish this conversation, though? I forgot what it is now. I've remembered. Do you think, because we vlog, I've always been the kind of person, if I go on an adventure, I want people to enjoy that adventure as well.
Yeah.
If I do something amazing, I always think, oh, if I won the lottery, I'd bring my friends and family here. And do you think that might be why we vlog? Because we want people to share that adventure with us?
Maybe. And I think it's sharing that with others, isn't it? There's a joy to sharing that with others. And I think I feel when I vlog that, you know, I'm talking to friends, so to share that experience with my friends feels great. It's a shared experience, isn't it? The other thing that's what I found quite interesting about vlogging is that I can take not more risks. That's not the right word. So, for example, if there was something going on, whereas normally I might be like, oh, there's something going on over there. Oh, wonder what that is. When I'm vlogging, it's almost like I'm a reporter. So I want to be able to share whatever that is going on with everybody else. So it makes me a little bit braver to go and ask questions, to go and get involved. And I've noticed that, whereas sometimes I would have normally sort of walked on. I'm like, oh, hold on. No, I want to find out what's going on, because it might be interesting for people that are watching. So I think vlogging makes me braver, you know, so that is cool. Right. I'm going to have to go. I'll tell you why I'm going to have to go. Well, number one, my mum's coming over on the bus. Harry's coming over with Oliver and Layla, and we're all going to the park this afternoon. So I need to get my skates on.
Yeah.
Has anybody got anything that they've read, seen, watched, been inspired by this week? I haven't, but so cool. Go on.
Yeah. Well, we're more near Heidi, and she's an inspiration because she changed her life around, and she's such a positive person. She can't wait to meet you, Lisa. And the other thing is, I'm a big fan of Steve Martin. My brother, on the other hand, can't wait Steve Martin in, which I find bizarre because he's just an actor. And there's a new series. It's on Disney. It's on Disney, and it's called The Only Murder in the Building, and it's just really clever. We've only watched one, and it's so addictive. We can't wait. It's just excellent. Yeah.
Well, thanks for that. That's good. Maxine, have you got anything you've read, seen, watched, or been inspired by this week?
No, we've not. I've not had time.
No, well, that's what,
with everything else.
Don't worry, Maxine. I haven't got anything either. So don't worry. So thank you, Paul. Thank you for that. So thank you to everybody who's joined us this week. It is the highlight of my week. I absolutely love coming on and chatting to everybody. I really enjoy it. So thank you, and we will see you next week, hopefully. Take care.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.